Pesto is one of my absolute favorite foods. In fact, it's what I build the foundation of my health and that of my entire family's with. You're gonna flip out when you see this keto, pesto, pistachio, mint, incredible foundation. But I want you to completely change the way that you think of pesto. So a lot of times we think of herbs as a garnish, right? You get a little parsley on the side, whatever it might be. To me, herbs are my foundation of health, and these are super herbs. So in India, I don't know if you've ever had the polyphenols, which is like the spinach with cheese. It's a main dish, and I eat it a lot of the time. What they do in India is they literally will cut half of that dish with mint. So here we have a cup of mint, but a lot of times in a lot of parts of the world, mint will be 1, 2, 3 cups worth every day in the diet. So think about that. Why is mint so incredibly powerful? Mint is powerful because it supports the immune system. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's filled with polyphenols, flavanols, all these antioxidants that literally build the elastin in our body, build the elastin in our skin. And it's this tiny little precious plant that is filled with all of these phytonutrients. So our cells drink up the nutrients that are in here, and we have to care for it and think about it in that same way. So I think that when we are understanding, okay, this dish calls for an entire cup of mint, I go back to the days with my grandmother where I'd be out in her fields and we would literally pick the mint ourselves every single day, and then we're making mint tea where we're using the full mint leaves. We're making this mint pesto, which is why I want to share it with you today. I was with Martha Stewart the other day, and she's in her 70s, and you look at her skin and it's luminous, it's beautiful. And I said to her, Martha, tell me, what is your secret? And this is what she told me. I go into my garden, I pick some mint, and I add it to my green juice in the morning. And it's that fresh mint that really supports her elastin, it's supporting her beauty proteins in her body, it's reducing inflammation. We know that mint is so good for the GI tract, it's so good for our digestion. You know, when you're a child or somebody in your family or you, maybe you have IBS issues. For me, having eczema, mint was an incredibly soothing nutrient. Herb, super herb, that helped my entire digestive system and my gut health. So I can't wait to show you this recipe. You can see we're gonna use 1 cup of pistachios. They're right here, I just chopped them. Now I'm chopping the garlic, and as you can see, the garlic is a really important part of any sort of pesto. It has so many immune boosting nutrients in it, and we know that garlic is something that's part of the Mediterranean diet. A lot of times here in the US, we don't use fresh garlic, but when we're using it, it can really have a supercharging effect on our health. Herbs have been what I remember probably more than anything else in my childhood. And it's so important to get pure, fresh. Fresh is really important, organic, well-sourced herbs. This is freshly and coarsely chopped. I love when we sort of bring in the textures and the coarseness of it. Then what I've got is 1/2 cup of oil. So this happens to be tea seed oil, but you can use olive oil, which I use all the time. I use avocado oil, so it just depends on what kind of variation you want. This is pecorino cheese, so you always want the full fat, full goodness cheese, and you can use different types of cheeses. Here are my pistachios. This is an entire cup of pistachio. It's coarsely sort of chopped up. Again, I love the texture, it's so delicious. Then I've got a squeeze of lemon juice, and we've got 2 full cloves of garlic. You know, garlic has so many antibacterial, immune strengthening properties. I like to add fresh garlic whenever I can. And then we've got some Celtic salt here. You can also use a pink salt if you want, a little bit of freshly ground pepper if you want to add that in for flavor. Here I've got some lemon zest, and the zest, again, we're getting the outer skin of the lemon, so you're getting the flavanols, you're getting the antioxidants. So simply what I'm going to do, because I like the rustic version of this mint keto pesto, I'm just going to add all the ingredients in here. So simple. You can also put it in your food processor if you're looking for something that's a little bit more creamy. This took me about 5 minutes of chopping, and then it's just simply mixing it up. I'm gonna add the rest of the ingredients. So here's some of our lemon zest. Oh my goodness. Just look at these colors, right? So I'm always looking for the colors of the rainbow on our plate, and then I know that my body's getting everything it needs. And because my kids have been eating pesto since they were toddlers, I don't necessarily add the garlic in for them because, you know, children have a lot more taste buds than we do in their mouths, so they taste things differently. I've got some salt, some pepper, again, a little bit more of the Celtic salt, so you're getting the right amounts of sodium, and you just mix this up. And this is a foundational part of what it is that we eat. We're not using this as a garnish, we're really using this as a foundation, and this is gonna help to balance your blood sugar, it's gonna give you the energy, it's gonna help to produce the ketones that we all want, and it's so fresh. It's filled with the phytonutrients, the super herb of mint, which is just one of the most beautiful and easy to grow plants out there. So you can grow it right in your garden, you can grow it in your kitchen, and we've used an entire cup of mint here. And there are many dishes that I use on a daily basis that will have 1, 2, 3 cups of this incredible plant. Again, I want you to think of this pesto as your super herb, super nutrient dense food. And so I like to literally eat it, just like you may have seen me eating granola or whatever, keto granola, whatever it might be. I like to eat it like this, but my kids will eat it on top of their zucchini noodles, and that's their pesto pasta. They'll also eat it on top of our keto bread. So there's so many ways that you can serve this, but it's almost like a salad, which is what I like to think of it as. This is like a herb keto pesto salad. I hope I inspired you to not only get in the kitchen and make some pesto, but to really look at pesto in a completely different way. In my family, we love pesto in all different forms, which is why I'm eating it like this. Make sure that when you're eating it, you're thinking about it as a foundational, nutrient-dense pesto, right? So it's not just a little garnish. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna be sharing tons more videos with you and tons of pesto videos. Remember to hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time.